My child, pay attention to what your father and mother tell you. My child, when sinners tempt you, don't give in. They said, come and join us, and we'll all share what we steal. My child, don't go with people like that. Stay away from them. My child, don't forget what I teach you. Always remember what I tell you to do. My teaching will give you a long and prosperous life. My child, when the Lord corrects you, pay close attention and take it as a warning. The Lord corrects those he loves, as parents correct a child of whom they are proud. Happy is anyone who becomes wise, who comes to have understanding. My child, don't forget what I teach you. Always remember what I tell you to do. My teaching will give you a long and prosperous life. My child, hold on to your wisdom and insight. Never let them get away from you. They will provide you with life, a pleasant and happy life. Listen to me, my child. Take seriously what I am telling you, and you will live a long life. Pay attention and listen to my wisdom and insight. Then you will know how to behave properly, and your words will show that you have knowledge. The lips of another man's wife may be as sweet as honey and her kisses as smooth as olive oil, but when it is all over, she leaves you nothing but bitterness and pain. My child, have you promised to be responsible for someone else's debts? Have you been caught by your own words, trapped by your own promises? Well then, my child, you are in that person's power, but this is how to get out of it. Hurry to him, and beg him to release you. Don't let yourself go to sleep or even stop to rest. Get out of the trap like a bird or a deer escaping from a hunter. My child, remember what I say and never forget what I tell you to do. Do what I say, and you will live. Be as careful to follow my teaching as you are to protect your eyes. My child, when you stop learning, you will soon neglect what you already know. My child, if you become wise, I will be very happy. I will be proud when I hear you speaking words of wisdom. My child, listen, be wise and give serious thought to the way you live. Don't associate with people who drink too much wine or stuff themselves with food. Drunkards and gluttons will be reduced to poverty. If all you do is eat and sleep, you will soon be wearing rags. My child, eat honey, it is good. And just as honey from the comb is sweet on your tongue, you may be sure that wisdom is good for the Soliston. Get wisdom and you have a bright future. My child, have reverence for the Lord, and honor the king. Have nothing to do with people who rebel against them, such people could be ruined in a moment. Do you realize the disaster that God or the king can cause? My child, be wise, and I will be happy. I will have an answer for anyone who criticizes me. My child, there is something else to watch out for. There is no end to the writing of books, and too much study will wear you out. My child, listen and pay attention to me. You will gain knowledge if you do. I will give you diligent and accurate instruction. My child, have you sinned? Don't do it again, and pray for forgiveness for what you have already done. Avoid sin as if it were a snake. If you get too near, it will sink its teeth into your soul like a lion, and destroy you. Every lawless act leaves an incurable wound, like one left by a double-edged sword. My child, it is a disgrace to a father to have an undisciplined child, especially if it is a daughter. A sensible daughter will get a husband, but a shameless daughter brings her father grief. A girl with no sense of propriety will disgrace both her husband and her father, neither will have any respect for her. My child, if you listen to what I am saying and put it into practice, one of these days you will thank me for it. Be moderate in everything you do, and you will never get sick. My child, as you go through life, keep your appetite under control, and don't eat anything that you know is bad for you. All food doesn't agree with everyone, and everyone doesn't like the same kinds of food. Don't feel that you just have to have all sorts of fancy food, and don't be a glutton over any food. If you eat too much, you'll get sick. If you do it all the time, you'll always have stomach trouble. Gluttony has been the death of many people. Avoid it and live longer. My child, when you get sick, don't ignore it. Pray to the Lord, and he will make you well. Confess all your sins and determine that in the future you will live a righteous life. My child, when someone dies, you should mourn. Weep and wail to show how deeply you feel the loss. Prepare the body in the proper way, and be present at the burial. My child, don't live the life of a beggar. It is better to die than to beg. If you have to depend on someone else for your food, you are not really living your own life. You pollute yourself by accepting food from another. Begging is torture to the soul of any sensitive person. A shameless person can make begging sound sweet, but something inside him burns. My child, you can learn if you want to. You can be clever if you are determined to be. If you are willing to listen, you will learn and become wise. Go where the old people are, find someone who is wise, and stay with him. Be ready to listen when religious people speak, and don't miss anything that shows insight. If you find someone with understanding, get up early to call on him, wear out his doorstep with your visits. My child, keep your self-respect, but remain modest. Value yourself at your true worth. There is no excuse for a person to run himself down. No one respects a person who has no respect for himself. My child, don't get involved in too many things. If you try to do too much, you will suffer for it. You won't be able to finish your work, and you won't be able to get away from it either. For instance, here is someone who never stops working like a slave but gets further behind all the time. My child, treat yourself as well as you can, and bring worthy offerings to the Lord. Remember that death is coming for you someday, and you haven't been told when that will be. Before that day comes, be kind to your friends, be as generous as you can. Don't deny yourself a single day's happiness. If there is something you want to do and it is lawful, go ahead. My child, when you help someone, don't reprimand him at the same time. When you make a gift, don't say anything that hurts. Your words count for more than what you give. Even do give some relief during a spell of hot weather. Yes, kind words are more effective than the best of gifts, and if you are really concerned, you will give both. It is stupid to be unkind and insulting. No one's eyes are going to sparkle at a gift that you resent giving. My child, I entrust to you this command, which is in accordance with the words of prophecy spoken in the past about you. Use those words as weapons in order to fight well, and keep your faith and a clear conscience. Some people have not listened to their conscience and have made a ruin of their faith. My child, the end is near. You were told that the enemy of Christ would come, and now many enemies of Christ have already appeared, and so we know that the end is near. My child, remain in union with him, so that when he appears we may be full of courage and need not hide in shame from him on the day he comes. You know that Christ is righteous. You should know, then, that everyone who does what is right is God's child. My child, our love should not be just words and talk, it must be true love, which shows itself in action. My child, keep yourselves safe from false gods. My child, some people ruin themselves by their own stupid actions and then blame the Lord. My child, nothing makes me happier than to hear that live in the truth. My child, those who win the victory will receive this from me, I will be their God, and they will be my children. If you like this video, do well by subscribing, like, and share it to others. Thanks. My channel, Steve Rush.